Okay, this video is about custom message box. So my character on that's yellow will meet the character over on the right, the purple character, and I will say a message to him and he will say a message to me. Alright, so let me show you how I did that. So when my character collides with the purple character, it's going to do a couple of things. I'm going to do a create instance, which is going to throw up the message box in this location. So X is at 0, Y is at minus 200, and I have it set to relative. So that's the position of where the comment box is going to be above their heads. And this right here is going to be the code. So object underscore text box, that's going to be this icon here, is this question mark here, and I'll go into that in a minute. That's the code for making the box appear, and type it out pretty much and make it appear. Then there is a alarm 1 after 50 milliseconds. It's going to go to alarm 1 and it's going to destroy the object text box, which is the code for the comment box. So you're going to read it, and after so many milliseconds it's going to be destroyed. And then my character goes to object player 02, which makes him move off screen. No, it doesn't. Oh, he says another line of text. Okay, so he switches to object player 2, and I have this VK underscore right. So this is set in the map, so you can't really move. Okay, so yeah, so you're waiting. The right mouse button, the right keyboard is taken away for a couple minutes, and then it's put back. Because the thing was what I'm doing is pretty much when I bump up against the character. So when I bump up against the character, I'm not able to move right until I say all my lines of code. Because what was happening was that if I'm able to move right and bump up against the character and still able to move right to move away, then I had an issue with the comment box like doubling up on itself for some reason. It would double up, and so that's why I had to deactivate the right button for so many seconds and then put it back so I'm able to move after so many seconds. So then he says another line of code, text box 2, the origin's at X minus 200, Y is at minus 200, and it's set to relative. Then alarm 0 kicks in, and it destroys that message box 2, and then it goes to player 3, which then says another line of text. Alarm 0 kicks in, destroys the text, and then he moves off screen. The purple guy moves off screen, and then once he moves off screen outside a room, then the game ends. So my character okay, so So I'm not going to talk about the right and left buttons, but my main goal here is just to talk about the message box for the most part here. But so yeah, basically what's happening here is once my character moves yellow, my character's yellow box, once in the square, once I move and hit against the purple box square, then my V key underscore right, which is the right keyboard, is taken away. So I can't move anymore until I say my lines. So it clears the keyboard, and then it clears the keyboard for 50 milliseconds, and then it goes alarm 1. So I stop at the character, I can't move anymore. So then it goes to alarm 1, and then it destroys the text that I talk about. And then it goes to player 2. And when it goes to player 2, which is the purple character, the purple character is going to say his line of text, but by that point I'm able to move right again. So when I'm saying my line of text, I have 2 lines of text I say. I can't move right on the keyboard, because if I move right on the keyboard, then for some reason the text box is going to double up. Okay, so let me show you what I'm talking about. So if I take this, so what's happening here is when I hit against the character, it's taking away my keyboard key on the right for 50 milliseconds. Then it's going to put it back where I can be able to move on the keyboard. But if I take that script out where I can move, so I'm just going to show you this real quick. So if I'm able to move once I hit against him, see, it does that double. It doubles up on the message box. Let me do it again. It's kind of, I don't know why it does that. So I had to do some kind of a fix. So there's a glitch in Game Maker Studio. So when I move right, it shows it right. Move right again, it doesn't do it then. But you gotta do it real quick. So it pretty much does it for the first comment box. It's gonna make the comment box color a lot brighter. See? I don't know why it does that. So in order for me to fix that problem, I had to clear the right key, and then after so many seconds, then I'm able to move again. So I guess after the second message box when I talk, then I'm able to move. But the first message box, I'm not able to move for 50 milliseconds, because if I press right, it doubles up on that message color box in the back for some reason. It makes it brighter. I don't know why, but that's a glitch in Game Maker Studio. So I had to do some kind of workaround to fix that, which is to clear the right key for 50 milliseconds and then put it back so I'm able to move again. Okay, then my character is solid minus depth 1, and then the purple guy's at 0 on the depth. Okay, so let me talk about the text here. So for how to do the text, there's a lot of code here. So you do a create, put a code sheet in the actions. This width 270 is how long you want the message box to be, and then the height of it, and the padding is the text from the bubble. So you have that colored bubble in the background, then you have the text on top. So the padding means that the text is away from the bubble so many spaces, and it's at 8 spaces away from the bubble outline. And then I have a font of 0. So that padding I'm talking about, let me just show you real quick. So when I hit this, see the padding right here? This is the padding between here and there. That's the padding. Okay, so then you have this uses a DS list, and you got to make sure you destroy the DS list at the end. Otherwise, you could have a memory leak and crash your system, so you got to make sure you delete the DS list thing, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Then the count is equal to 0, last space equals 0, line is 0, and then you have I'm not really sure what this really does so much, but I watched a video on this stuff, and this was required for the text to pop up. So it's pretty much I think this has something to do with, like, this is keep tracking of the last space and current space position. So I guess it's just talking about, so this information right here is pretty much talking about the spacing between the text, and then when it drops down to the second line of text, that's what it's pretty much talking about. So if you mess with these numbers right here, then the line of text is going to look kind of it's going to look different. Let me see if I can show you what it does really. And it doesn't do too much. I think it pretty much will do something. I mean, if you had another line of text down below, then you would see probably some kind of change. But there's only one line of text, so it's not really a big deal on this portion right here, so you just keep it at 0. But if you have a second line of text, then you want to probably mess with these numbers here, so that way maybe it's pretty much talking about the spacing in between the first sentence and the second sentence, or the third sentence. So you would have to mess with these numbers here to get it get the spacing correctly, pretty much. So the message it pretty much says, hello, how are you today? And then the str equals, you just keep that with the parentheses on top. You don't put nothing aside there. If you do put something in there, let me see what happens. I think it just it doesn't show it. I think because I have the width of the bubbles is kind of thin, so it's not showing this information here. But I would just leave that blank with the parentheses up on top there. So, this is talking about pretty much how wide the message bubble is going to be, and the font style, and the padding of the text. And then if you have more than one line of sentence, then you would have to mess with these numbers here so that way you can get your spacing correctly in between the two sentences, or the three sentences, or whatever. Then you have your game end. And that's basically you want to destroy your DS list. Make sure you destroy it, otherwise you're going to have a memory leak and it's going to crash your game, especially if you do it through Android, and also for your PC, of course, but more or less for your Android, because Android have limited, you don't have that much memory space, pretty much. I don't know, it depends on your device, but just make sure you want to destroy the DS listing after you're done with your comment box, after it's typed out, and make sure it's destroyed after it's done. Then you have a draw. Then all this is talking about the alpha, so this is talking about the how the transparency you want for your comment box in the background. And then you have the round rectangle message box that's going to do the width and height, and I set it to yellow. Then the alpha is at 1. Make sure that's set to 1, otherwise it's not going to do the transparency correctly for the message bubble. Then I want the text to be white as well. Then this is the string for the padding of the text. And then this is pretty much like inserting the text one letter at a time. That's pretty much what this code's talking about. And then this is I guess this is counting the number. This is counting the lettering on one letter at a time, and then it's going to. I think that's what it's pretty much talking about. It's like typing it out one letter at a time. I got a video I watched on this, and I'll give you the link on that. So the guy explains a little better than I do. So, yeah, all this is pretty much talking about how it pretty much starts out. You know, how your text is going to be typed out one letter at a time, and this is all the code that is required for that to work, and pretty much animate out. Grab the string, draw the string, where it's going to be positioned on screen, the text and everything. And then I got the font. I chose the font choice here. 13, anti-alias 3, bold. So it's going to do that. Quicksand font type. And then same thing, and then and it's like I said, this is a question mark pretty much. There's no sprint, but like I said, I have it set up where when you hit the character, it's going to do the create instance, which is in the main one tab here. And then I just grabbed that code, put it in there, coded sheet, and it's going to be in that location on the screen. And then with the second player, he's going to do his text. He got text box 2. Text box 2, it's the same. And then like I changed the width on the bubble on this one to 450, the height 50, padding 8, font uses the same font. All this code is the same, spacing 0, but he's going to say something different. My name is Sam. What is your name? I think this is actually me talking still because I do 2 lines of text. But yeah, you have to stretch out your width of your bubble to the length of your text. So it's going to be longer here. And then you want to destroy your DS list. Then you draw it out. All this code's pretty much the same. This is all the code that is required to make sure that it's going to be typed out, animated, typed out. So this code doesn't change unless you want to change the bubble color and the alpha in the back. You could change the message bubble in the back. You change that to a different color if you wanted to, and the text you could change to a different color as well. So if I want to do blue, and then change this to, I don't know, orange, it's probably not going to really be able to read it. See, blue, orange. Like I said, you can change this message bubble so it's more solid if you wanted to, or more transparent. Use an alpha there. And use the same font. Then the other character, the purple character, he's going to say something else. He's going to say, my name is Michael, nice to meet you. Then the width is changed, the height is changed, paddings are changed. And then destroy the DS list, which is the text bubble and everything. And then the draw. The only thing I changed here was the message bubble is going to be purple. And that's pretty much it. I didn't change the text color or the alpha. You could change the alpha, I don't know, like 15. See what happens when I do that. Let me see what happens when I change the alpha on that. So this is the same. He's going to be different. See? You have less, it's more transparent. So he's got to play around with that. And that's pretty much it. So I'll upload this this file, the GMX file, so you can download it and play around with the message box. Thanks for watching.